Hi everyone, good morning. 7 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We also want to welcome you in if you're watching us on KREM 2 Plus. We are under a weather impact alert day today because of the foggy conditions in parts of our region. So let's get right to Thomas. Thomas, what's the very latest?
Yeah, if you're heading west of Spokane, you're going to be running into that fog very quickly, especially those higher elevations of the West Plains. There are dense fog advisories for mostly Lincoln and Adams County. That's the gray shaded area. It's kind of in the center of the screen here. But I also want to just include western Spokane into that because that is where we start to see some of the dense fog, especially immediately towards the Cheney and Medical Lake exits along I-90. So the visibility reports already at 1/4 of a mile from the airport, which of course is a bit closer towards airway height. But once you go west of there, that is when we start to run into the heaviest fog in the inland Northwest.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact this morning. This is a live look at I-90 and Geiger. You could see really just the lights right now because of the foggy conditions, as Thomas just told us. So because we're under this weather impact alert day today, it's also having an impact on your morning commute today as well in parts of our viewing area. So if you are heading especially further out west outside of Spokane, keep in mind that it is quite foggy. You will need to keep your headlights on and give yourself plenty of room and slow down, of course. We'll keep a close eye on the situation. We bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. New this morning, Idaho State Police are investigating a shooting on I-90 near the border of Washington and Idaho. Around 8 o'clock last night, multiple law enforcement agencies responded to a Ford pickup truck in the median of the interstate. Witnesses reported a man was shooting towards the interstate as vehicles drove by. Shortly after law enforcement arrived, the suspect was brought into custody. Nobody was hurt in the shooting, but all of I-90 was shut down. It has since reopened this morning. The 23-year-old man was booked into the Kootenai County Jail for unlawful discharge of a firearm. He was also cited for a DUI, use of a deadly weapon, and disturbing the peace. New in the last 12 hours, in their meeting last night, Spokane City Council unanimously approved a resolution for a contract extension with the safety organization known as COPS. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones live at City Hall for us this morning. Brandon, you've been tracking this closely. What does this resolution mean for the future of COPS? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Well, for starters, last night's vote officially goes ahead and puts a contract in front of Mayor Lisa Brown to go ahead and sign that extension that would keep the safety organization COPS around for at least a few more months. Last night, City Council voted to approve a proposed 3-month contract extension for the program, which would allocate up to $200,000 in funding. That is a decrease from the $450,000 COPS receives in the past, but it puts the safety organization in a position where they can still go ahead and operate over the next few months. The proposed amendment from Council President Betsy Wilkerson extends the contract with COPS for 3 months at a cost of $125,000 that will be payable on a monthly reimbursement basis. If Mayor Brown doesn't sign the amendment by 3 p.m. today, the Council President can use her authority to approve the extension. This will be a form of bridge funding as the Mayor's office seeks transparency on how COPS is using taxpayer money. COPS Executive Director was at the Council meeting last night to speak on that exact topic.
No one ever asked me for program numbers. I knew we had a new chief coming. I did a little bit of research and found he was very numbers driven, all right? So I put together numbers. How much do we NOP? How much do we do this? How much do we do that? Gave the numbers to the chief, gave the numbers to the mayor.
Also at last night's council meeting, council members approved the city's first ever biennium budget. So we'll have those details coming up for you here in the next half hour. But for now, reporting live in downtown Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Right now, a University of Washington professor is receiving a Nobel Prize in Sweden. Professor David Baker is receiving a Nobel Prize in chemistry for his computational protein design. His lab created new proteins that can do things like neutralize viruses and treat cancer cells. His research helped scientists develop the first COVID vaccine. Our station in Seattle spoke with him back in October when he learned about the honor.
It's been an absolute privilege to work with them over the years, and as Tim and Anna Marie says, I'm very, very excited about the future. I think protein design has huge potential to make the world a better place, and I really do think we're just at the very, very beginning.
Baker was born and raised in Seattle and graduated from Garfield High School. He'll receive the award in a ceremony starting any moment now. It began at 7 o'clock, so we'll keep you updated when he receives that award. This morning, hundreds of Boeing employees are waking up without a job come February. Boeing has issued layoff notices to another 396 employees in Washington. The state's Employment Security Department received the notice yesterday. The layoffs are impacting employees at the company's locations across western Washington, including Bremerton, Puyallup, Seattle, and more, as you can see here on the map. Their last day will be February 21st. We are working to find out if these mass layoffs are affecting the Moses Lake facilities. These layoffs add to more than 2,000 Washington jobs Boeing has cut so far this year. Boeing announced in October that it would cut 10% of its workforce to align with the financial reality of the company. Today, a decision is expected in the state's lawsuit against Kroger's proposed grocery store merger. The trial over the proposed merger with Albertsons wrapped up last month. The state claims the deal will limit competition and lead to higher prices for shoppers. A King County Superior Court judge is expected to deliver his verdict at 1:30 in the afternoon. The Federal Trade Commission has also sued to block the merger. Continuing coverage this morning, an Arizona judge approved Lori Vallow's request to represent herself against conspiracy charges related to the death of her ex-husband. This after finding she is competent to stand trial. Vallow was already convicted in the deaths of her children, Tylee and JJ, and her husband's ex-wife, Tammy Daybell, in Idaho. Last year, she was brought to Arizona to face more charges. The judge asked Vallow a series of questions to make sure she understood she is held to the same standard as an attorney.
There are serious disadvantages and dangers to representing yourself. Can you just tell me a little bit why you want to represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor. For the past 5 years that I've been incarcerated, I have taken upon myself to study case law and criminal rules of procedure in the state of Idaho and Arizona, as well as federally. Prior to that, for the last 10 years, prior to my incarceration, I did study procedure in family law, and I have real trial experience.
The judge's decision came last week. Vallow's most recent public defenders will be kept on as advisory counsel.
At 7:08, we take you outside where we are just monitoring weather conditions in terms of fog pretty closely. Here at our South Hill studios, no fog, and on this side of town, not noticing any fog over downtown either, but our temperatures are at about 30 to 31 degrees at the moment. You basically got to make it to the airport, and then west of there is where the fog is at its heaviest. Over the West Plains of Spokane County, nothing unusual, but it looks particularly dense, and since our temperatures, again, are below freezing, it is a freezing fog. So we want to make sure that you are, again, aware that there could be icy patches, black ice on some of those bridges and overpasses, which tend to collect a bit more of that ice a bit more easily than other stretches of the road.